Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. A high-rise luxury apartment building with underground parking is planned for the former Guitar Center site on Hazelton Road. The Edina City Council last month approved a comprehensive plan amendment and granted preliminary rezoning and development plan approvals for the proposed housing project. The building would be 19 stories with 186 dwelling units and 198 parking spaces. The proposed height of the tower is 218 feet, approximately 20 feet less than the Westin Edina Galleria.
It's the first project that really opens up and faces the Promenade in Centennial Lakes. All the other developments in the area turn their back on those features. So this project is going to set the tone for future development to open up, expand that open space and really embrace it.
The developer plans to meet the city's affordable housing policy by providing $1.86 million for affordable housing elsewhere in the city. In addition, the proposed building includes small one-bedroom studio or micro units, ideal for college graduates, young professionals, corporate transfers, and single empty nesters. A new dockless bike sharing program may soon be coming to Edina. For the past several years, there have been discussions about Edina participating in a bike sharing program. However, the operating model of the sole provider in the Twin Cities, Nice Ride Minnesota, does not offer services outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Also, the infrastructure costs associated with docking stations can be significant. Limebike proposed a trial of a dockless bike sharing program in Edina.
Limebike is a company out of California who is the leading provider and really revolutionizing urban mobility throughout our country. You would simply go to your phone and then find on your phone, you would have a little lime symbol, or in the case of an e-bike, you would have a lime symbol with a little Shazam kind of electric mark. And so this is a really good option, especially for those who are traveling from a public transportation to potentially their home or to their business or what have you. So then I would simply get to my destination, I would lock the bike, and I would walk away.
If approved, the trial would begin in June, with the pilot going through the end of the year.
We have a memorandum of understanding with Limebike, the provider, that outlines the conditions about the types of decisions that will be made. So it's going to be in place for about 6 months, and we're going to learn from some mistakes and find out what works and what doesn't work. And the good thing is Limebike collects data for where the bikes are, where they're used, how often they're used. They can share that with us, which is great for our planning purposes, but also allows us to determine what's working and what isn't and how to disperse the bikes around the city.
There will be no cost to the city for the program. Nearby suburban cities, including Golden Valley, St. Louis Park, Robbinsdale, and New Hope, are also considering agreements with Limebike. A nuisance affecting trees across the northern and eastern U.S. is now confirmed in at least one tree in Edina. As Rusty Ray tells us, city leaders want to make sure it's handled with care and that homeowners know what to look for.
Luther Overholt said a couple of generations ago, these ash trees were likely part of a replanting effort after Dutch elm wiped out countless elm trees across Edina. Now, emerald ash borer could do the same to ash trees citywide.
Since its arrival here in Minnesota in 2009, I have been looking for it.
This spring, emerald ash borer is in Edina on a handful of trees on private property. Overholt spotted the telltale missing bark patterns on these trees after he said woodpeckers went in search of the pests. Another way to tell if a tree is infested would be to remove the bark, and right below the surface you would see S-like patterns back and forth from the larvae. Overholt says it's that kind of destruction that can bring major problems.
As the infestation increases, they lose all their structural integrity, so all the components of the tree that bring water and nutrients up to the top of the tree are getting choked out, and the tree becomes very brittle and eventually will begin to just collapse on itself.
Overholt said that's probably still a couple of years away for these infected trees in Edina, but at least one property owner has elected to remove the trees.
all the trees that we have found with it at this point are still treatable. And so there are injections you can do that will save the tree, but they have to be done every 2 to 3 years for the remainder of the life of the tree.
As for keeping it contained, there are simple steps everyone can take.
One of the things that is illegal here now in Minnesota is to move firewood. And so just trying to prevent the spread of emerald ash borer up north to all the cabins that we have and all the millions of ash trees that we have up in the northern part of the state.
As he works with city staff in Edina to keep it contained here. Reporting for Edina TV, I'm Rusty Ray.
Discussions among city leaders continue about how to best protect against future infestation. Thank you for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.